right, man. JB Bickerstaff. Let's talk about him. Should he be the head coach of the year? I know, usually go to the Cavaliers when because they probably got the best record, or the Thunder, or one of the upper echelon teams. But storylines also push season awards, and then you kind of look at it. Dan Campbell had one of the best records in the league. I think one game behind the Kansas City Chiefs, and they lost because Minnesota had a better story, despite beating Minnesota, and Minnesota beating Minnesota to win the division the last game of the season. They still didn't give it to them. So, yeah, they tend to slight Detroit when it comes to awards, and, they tend to slight small market teams when it comes to awards as well, too. And I think it's very unfortunate that the criteria changed depending on who it is. So, check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. So, I do think JB Bickerstaff should be the coach of the year, no doubt about it. What he done. I mean, his team was a 14-win team. I mean, think how bad it was. I mean, it had the worst record a few times and kept getting the fifth pick. And that, we all know the NBA draft lottery was rigged. I mean, the first draft lottery, what was it? With Patrick Ewing was 84, 85, 86, something like that, 86, 85, whatever. And, Bill Simmons did a whole excerpt on there talking about how, they bent one of the folders to let them know what to pick, or one of the little things to pick for him to go to New York Knicks. So we know it's rigged. We know Shaquille O'Neal was saying, David Stern asked him, do you want to go somewhere hot or cold? And he ended up going to Orlando because he said somewhere hot. Then Orlando ended up getting the number one pick again. I think took Chris Webber, traded for Penny Hardaway. I mean, we already know it's rigged. LeBron going to Cleveland, you think that was, come on, man. Luka getting sent to the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? But they stopped Chris Paul. Like, Chris Paul for going to Lakers with Mark Cuban, wrote some letters and all that. The NBA is rigged, and that's the biggest problem with it. If Adam Silver really wants the NBA to thrive, he should make it an organic experience, no superstar calls. Let them be a little bit more physical, not fight or nothing like that, but be a little bit more physical, not cause so many touch falls, bring it back a handshake. If the points per game drop, guess what? The points per game is pretty high right now, and nobody's pretty much fucking watching. They just starting to watch right now because ain't shit else on TV. That's it. So it's all storyline. It's all rigged. It's all storylines. They tip it in certain people's favor because all these players in this market are LA or Boston or Miami, whatever. At the end of the day, everybody should have a fair chance to win. And if you can produce an organic experience, that's what the one thing about March Madness people love, is that anything can happen. In the NBA, you know what's the fuck gonna happen for the most part. You know who's gonna be there at the end. Let it even, Steve. People love new flavor. People love new spices. People love those type of things. But if you keep, giving it to the same old, or the media don't want to go to Cleveland for the finals, or they don't want to be at OKC for the final. Okay, if y'all sitting there, y'all pushing LeBron, Luka, LeBron, they gonna be. It is like motherfuckers like, I done had enough of this nigga LeBron. I done had enough of that shit, man. Like, I'm good on NBA. It's the same thing. I don't know if how many people watch My Wife and Kid. Remember somebody ate his pie, his special pie. So until nobody fessed up, so he made everybody eat the special pie. Every meal for 3 meals a day until somebody fessed up who ate his pie. The father, Michael Kyle. And fun fact, that show was actually about D.L., kind of based on D.L. Hughley's life. So D.L. Hughley's show didn't do well, I guess, well enough on TV, and then they just took it and did My Wife and Kids. That's allegedly the story. So, yeah, So at the end of the day, people started tired of starting eating the same pie. People want to see new flavor in there. That's why, when, St. Joseph's made a run in the tournament back in the day with Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, people just want to see a good game. They want to see good games. They want to see a sport. They want to see physicality. They want to see emotion. They don't want to see crybabies. They want to see competitive games. You talking about the NBA, the best thing to watch is the highlights. You can watch the highlights and, get a better feel. So getting the Pistons in there, and they in there, Oklahoma City in there, Cleveland in there, they should capitalize on that. Tell ESPN, stop saying, I don't want to go to Cleveland for the finals. I don't want to go to OKC for the finals. Like, people tired of hearing it. Oh, Cowboys, Lakers. Like, people are like, fuck ESPN, dude. like literally. So at the end of the day, if they really want to get people interested in sports, let's go with an organic feel. Let's promote the finals like it's going to be LeBron and Kobe back in the day, or you got Kobe and Michael, and let's promote it like that. Let's give it the proper supporting cast. Let's give it great promos, great commercials, great storylines, great inserts. Let's improve the production. All that type of stuff got to happen. So it's not mundane. It's not boring. It's not terrible. It's not horrible. They just feel like it's a drag when it's not LeBron or a Laker. They make it feel that way. Put the enthusiasm behind it, like y'all do it with those teams. So, and of course they love storyline. Want to give it to somebody else, but JB Bickerstaff. I like Kenny Atkinson. He was one of the guys I want to be the head coach of the Lakers for the Pistons. Because I like what he did in Brooklyn. I have no issue with that. But JB Bickerstaff, what he did. We had Stephen A. Smith said, "Monty should thank God they let him out of that contract and he got his money. It's a shitty situation over there." And at the end of the day, he came in. He knew the Pistons well. Terajan Langdon, they didn't know each other. Terajan, it was an organic experience. He had been around 20, 25 years. And just think about how God worked. You know what I'm saying? Think about how God worked. He was supposed to hire his homeboy. I forget the dude's name. Don't forget this. He was supposed to hire his homeboy from New Orleans. What was the guy name from New Orleans he was supposed to hire? I don't know where that particular guy ended up, but they couldn't come to financial terms. I forget the guy's name. Remember they were supposed to hire that one guy? They didn't hire him. They had JB drive up from Cleveland because he just got out of Cleveland. We was all shocked. Terajan Langdon and JB had no connection. They had a meeting. Apparently, they had to hit it off. And it was a couple things that happened that saved Terajan Langdon ass. He allegedly wanted to keep Monty. Tom was like, fuck that. No. You know what I'm saying? Then he wanted to get that one guy. Somebody know his name in the comment. I can't remember his name. I don't really know him that well. But they supposed to get that one guy from New Orleans to go. He was from somewhere. He was with Terajan in New Orleans, I want to say. Whatever reason, that they fell out of financial terms or whatever. And he meets with JB Bickerstaff and they pick him. And he is a great fit for him. He said, stop wearing him. He provided the structure. He provided the structure for these guys. And I just think what he did from a non-biased situation, I think he should be coach of the year. He came and turned around a 14-win team, and they already more than doubled their win total, and they rolling. It just seemed like it was no egos in that locker room. It seemed like they all got together. They got along together. They played well together. It just was like it was like you can see it was like if you kind of listen to the media who don't watch the game, oh, it's a terrible team. They lost. It was the way they was losing under Monty Williams. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't losing like they would just. It'd be kind of like you seen this year where a bad stretch in the third quarter, it'll get nasty and they'll lose, right? Or in the fourth quarter, it was a stretch, where they about to win, and they just fall apart. In this season, you had that. You had stretches in the third quarter, like Boston, like a few games that I went to in Boston where they just fall apart down the stretch. They just start turning the ball over, and they just fall apart. And it seemed like whatever JB Bickerstaff, remember, he kept some of the guys from Monty's staff, Jared Jack. It just seemed like whatever, they fixed the issue. They fixed the issue personnel-wise, bringing veterans in. And you see Charlotte has lost, I think, 2 or 3 games in a row by 30, 50 and some points, and it's the most in a 2 or 3 game stretch that the team has ever lost. Charlotte should look at what Detroit did. What did Detroit do? They brought in key veterans, Tobias, Malik, Tim Hardaway. They brought in veterans. That's all Charlotte missing. And now Charlotte they made the play in, and then they thought they need veterans. They a little bit wilder than the Pistons, though. Charlotte is a little bit more wilder. They're a wild-ass team. They play around. They just a wild team. So they need, remember another Piston candidate over there, Charles Lee, when Monty was here, he was a finalist. They just too wild. And Detroit was never as wild and flamboyant and do crazy shit like Charlotte. But now the Pistons are, they got the veterans, they got structure, and the veterans show you how to be a pro off the floor, on and off the floor. So, yeah, I don't think JB should be the head coach, the coach of the year, but, it is what it is. We know how they treat markets like Detroit, but I had no issue with Kenny Atkinson being coach of the year. Got love for Kenny Atkinson. He's a hellified coach, and, OKC Thunder. Orlando, I don't know what happened with them, but I like their coach down there. They just paid him, too. I like him. So, yeah, check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe button, hit the bell icon button, hit the link tree, follow me everywhere there. Peace.